So you will need your regular notebook too, because we've got 2 examples to go before we get to the note sheet that you picked up when you came in the room today. So you got to have the regular piece of paper out there then too. Okay? Okay? So we're going to finish off graphing. We want to do the last 2 graphing examples today. And then we're going to start curve fitting. So we're going to start graphing, but just in reverse. We're going to start with a graph, and then we're going to go back to the function. Okay? Where as opposed to right now, we're starting with the function, and we're asking you to come up with the graph. Okay? Okay? Tomorrow we'll have some more curve fitting type notes, and then your test is going to be on Wednesday of next week. Okay? And then all will be well. Okay? First, remember we've got the A's and the B's and the C's and the D's. Okay? So A, what does A do to our graph? Stretches it which way? Up and down vertically? I couldn't hear the second part of what you had said. I heard the stretch part. Okay? But yep, so it stretches it vertically. Affects what, Henry? The amplitude you said? Yep, the amplitude, how high it goes, how low it goes, all that fun stuff. What does B affect? Does B affect anything? What does it affect? Or what does it do to the graph? Stretches it which way? Horizontally. It's the horizontal stretch. Yep, it's the horizontal stretch. So A is the vertical stretch, B is the horizontal stretch. C, what does C do? It's the starting point, so it's not a stretch, it's another S word. It's a shift. Yep, it shifts it lefts and rights. Okay? What does D do? Shifts it up and down. Okay? So A is the vertical stretch, B is the horizontal stretch, C is the horizontal shift, D is the vertical shift. All right. I double tap. Let's do this one. Go for it. Well, we can't have nice things spelling. Broke the stylist. So, hopefully, you started by doing this. 2 sine of negative 1/4 times x plus 4 pi. No, minus 4 pi. Then plus 3. Right? Okay? So had you done that, then now your domain is all real numbers. Your middle is at 3. Your amplitude would be at 2, which means you would go all the way up to 5, all the way down to 1. Where would your start be? At 4 pi. What is your period? 8 pi? So where would you end? If you start at 4 pi, takes you 12 pi to get through, or excuse me, 8 pi to get through, where would you end? 12 pi. Okay? Sine curve normally starts where? Low, middle, high. Starts where? Middle. Normally it goes a high, middle, low, middle, right? This one, does it have a negative A value? Nope, so we're still middle, high, middle, low, middle. Does it have a negative B value? Yes. Does that affect sine curves? Yes. So a sine curve flips over. Oh, grabbed the wrong one. Vertically, our lowest point is 1. Our middlest point is 3. And our highest point is 5. Horizontally, we start at 4 pi. We end at 12 pi. Halfway, how many pi's? 8 pi. Halfway, first half. Halfway, second half. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, clarification? What's up?
Does the poster have to be like a longer distance, or is it when it gets so short?
As long as you got it labeled, yeah. As long as you don't put the vertical axis right on top of it. Yeah. All right. Try that one. Agree? Your reaction said that you didn't agree. What don't you understand? Because now would be the time to ask. What do you mean? Right there. It's minus cosine. Because of this sign right here. Everybody else good? All right, let's get into some curve fitting. All right, let's work backwards. So, depending upon what we have, or what function we're looking for, you know, we've kind of got three different parts to a sine or a cosine curve. We got the low, we got the middle, and then we got the high. And we can find those right off of the graph, or tomorrow we'll get into some tables. We'll be able to kind of sketch those, and we'll see what those are, and we'll be able to find those. Do any of those give us an A, a B, a C, or a D? Yeah? What? Middle gives us D. Okay? So the middle right here, this is D. Right? Anything else given to us by just those three numbers? Amplitude, and that's which one? That's A, and that's the distance from there or there. Okay. That gives us our A. Okay. C, we would find wherever we start our curve. That would give us our C. And then the distance that it takes us horizontally to get to the exact same spot, we call that the, what do we call that? We call that the period. And what is the period equal to? The one thing we told you to memorize. What do you got, Taylor? Pi over the absolute value of B. Okay? So we can find all that stuff, the four things that we need to make the function, we can find all of those just from the graph. Okay? Now, we're on your note sheet that you got when you picked up here. So let's do the first one. It says, find us a sine curve to go along with that. Okay? So the first thing that we can identify is we can identify where those highs and those lows and all that fun stuff is. Okay? So what is the maximum, the high value for this function? The most that this function gets up to. -4. Okay? So -4 is the high value there. Okay? What's the low value? -16. Okay? So my question to you now is this. Where is the middle? What do you got? -10. Okay? Because that's going to be our D value, right? So we can ask you a personal question. How did you come up with -10? And -4 and -16 and divided by 2? Yep, love it. I think you said -6. Okay. Okay? Alright, so we take the average of those. What else do we find? Now that we know where our middle's at, what else can we find? What's our amplitude? 6, because it's the distance from the middle to the high, middle to the low. So our amplitude A is 6. Okay? It said we needed to find a sine curve. Where does sine start? Starts in the middle, right? So I need to pick a spot where my middle and my curve are at the same spot. So would this be acceptable? Yeah? Okay. So that would be an acceptable spot. If that is the case, what is my C value? What's the C value then? -1. The horizontal distance that it takes me to get back to the same spot is my period. Correct? What is the length of my period? How many? Is it 10? It's literally in front of you. Is it 12? Do we all agree with 12? Yes? We should agree with 12 because it is 12. Okay? So 12 is my period, and we just said that my period was equal to 2 pi divided by b. Which means that 12b is equal to 2 pi, which means that b is pi over 6. Okay? So we can put that all together now, and we can say we want it in the form y equals a sine of b times the quantity x minus c plus d. What's my a value? A value. 6. What's my b value? Pi over 6. What's my c value? -1. So in this equation, it would be -1 or +1? +1, because we got to think oppositely. What's my d value? -10 or +10? Minus, that's outside parentheses, so it's straight up. And that would work, right? Okay. Would this one also be acceptable? Would that work? Yes or no? Give me another chance. Yeah, because where's that one starting? Starting right here, isn't it? And going through like that, right? Would this one work? Yes or no? Yeah, that one works too. What about if I put negative 35 there? In this spot right here. Yeah? Positive 13? Could I put positive 13 there? Yeah, all those work. Because that's all starting points for sine. Because how far apart are all of those? How far apart is 1 and negative 11? Negative 11 and negative 23. Negative 23 and negative 35. 1 and negative 13. How far apart are all those? 12. Why are they all 12 apart? Because that's my period. So as long as they're all 12 apart, doesn't matter which ones they are. Okay? Now, really blow your mind. Where would this one be? This one would be at what about that one? Does that fit it? That one starts here and goes to there. And again, as long as we're a multiple of 12 away on this number right there, we can have anything. So we could have x minus 17 there. We could have x plus 7 there. Okay? As long as they're 12 apart, or a multiple of 12 apart from that, it's all good. Okay? What I would like you to do now is I would like you to find me a cosine curve for that one at the bottom. Find a cosine curve. So this has a high value of 7, a low value of negative 3, which means that there's a 10 total gap, which means the middle then would be at 2. That's going to be D, which means that my amplitude then is 5. Okay? Now, depending upon where you started, is going to depend upon your C value, but all of the periods are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So everybody should have pi over 4 for B. I'm gonna go -6, but you could have also gone here with, let me give you some alternatives to the -6. So we could have also gone with -2, or excuse me, +2. You could have gone with -14. You could have gone with -22. You could have gone with +10. So there's 5 different options on that one. Okay? Now, if you started at the bottom, I saw a couple of people started at the bottom, then your change would have to be a -5 out in front. Pi over 4 is still your B value, but now your starts would be at -2 or -10 or +6 +14 -18. Here's your. Okay. And all of those give you the exact same grade. Okay. Now, we will never, I shouldn't say never, never is such a strong word. Okay. It would be very rare that we ask you to find a sine and a cosine curve or function based off of one single curve. Normally, we will tell you which one we want. Okay? It is not your job. I mean, how do I want to say this? Your job is to come up with a function. It's our job to make sure your function fits everything else. Okay? So we're not going to specifically ask for one of these purple values or one of these orange values. Okay? Our job is to know all of those values. Okay? Your job is to just come up with one of them. Right? Now, you could also, for this one, we could come up with a sine function if we wanted. Okay? Because we could start the function here. Now it's a sine curve. Okay? Likewise on the first one that we did. If we would started here, we could have come up with a cosine function for that same graph. The period's going to be the same, which means the B value is going to be the same. The A value is going to be the same. The D value is going to be the same. The only thing that changes is the actual function and the start, where you're actually starting. Okay? So you have 4 choices for every graph that we give you to give us a function. You could go with a positive sign, a negative sign, a positive cosine, or a negative cosine. Okay? You only got to come up with one of those 4. Okay? We got to go all 4. But that's okay. We're okay with that. All right? For the remaining 15 minutes or so that we have, you have 2 worksheets. You should have 2 green worksheets that you could be working on. You have formative corrections to do from yesterday. And yeah, good times.